All right, today on Oasis Wealth, the options with disability insurance. So, at the end of the day, disability insurance is going to cover you in one of two areas. It's going to cover you in the event of an injury, where you get too injured to work, or in the event of an illness, where you have a heart attack, or there's a cancer involved, or an unknown autoimmune system that takes you out of work. So, it's really those two categories. So, if we look at someone who's healthy, who is working full-time. Obviously, you have to have income to qualify. It's a no-brainer, okay? You have to have stable income, and we have to be able to qualify exactly what your occupation is. Within that, if you have a full-blown disability plan where, it stays with you no matter what job you go to, it will cover your injuries, it'll cover your illnesses, and they can't cancel it on you. Those are for people who are generally in good health, have good professions. Good professions meaning it's not a high-risk profession. You'd be surprised, even things like hairstylists and things that do a lot of manual labor with your hands are actually considered a high risk for claims. So if you are healthy and you're in a low-risk category, then a full-blown disability insurance policy where we ask all the medical questions and go through all of that is ideal, because that means that they can't cancel it on you. You can transfer from job to job. You can add bells and whistles. It's amazing. Now, what if you're not qualifiable for that? Whether it's because you have a high-risk occupation or whether it's because of pre-existing conditions. Now, there are still some options. A lot of times we can get what's called injury-only insurance for disability that protects your income. And to qualify for those, there's really only about 3 or 4 questions. For example, it'll ask, have you been incapable of doing a daily activity? Do you work more than 20 hours a week? Do you understand English? It's very non-medical questions. They don't ask all about your medical history. It's when you go into the illness aspect where there's a lot more questions about that. Now, I also will say, if there's maybe one condition or one thing that's gone on in your world, whether it be a mental health concern, whether it be a back injury, those type of things, I still recommend going through the full medical underwriting, simply because a lot of times what will happen in disability insurance is you will be able to get an approval with an exclusion for that one event. Okay, we see it quite a bit in back injuries where you could be approved that they will cover you for any event that would happen for you to get disabled, except if it came from that pre-existing back condition. But someone who, like a diabetic, someone who is maybe perhaps a cancer survivor, your options may be injury only. But again, I would venture to say that having coverage in the event that you break your leg or some major injury happens is still better than nothing. Okay, so those are kind of the 2 different breadths of how we can get disability insurance approved for an individual. Injury only or injury and illness. Now, some of the literature we've been putting out, you'll see that mental health claims are one of the top claims these days, and that's why they're really picky as well about illness, because it does come under that category. So all you can do is to even know if you are insurable or not is to reach out. Okay, let us know. We can take a look without kind of anonymously, shall we say, medically, and feel it out as to what would be even an option for you on the disability side. Listen, you can't afford to go 5 years without a paycheck if you get too sick or injured to work. You can't self-fund yourself unless you are completely independently wealthy. If so, maybe we're not, this doesn't apply to you. But otherwise, this is why we use the insurance for pennies on the dollar, to ensure the risk that if you can't work, someone else will continue to provide and pay for you and your families to keep the mortgage going and to keep food on the table, to be honest. Okay, have a great day. Let us know if you have any questions, even about particular illnesses, particular situations, and we can take a look at every kind of situation on the book. We've dealt with it all. Have a great day. Bye-bye.